Good morning, and welcome back. Before I say anything else, I need you to stop whatever you're doing in that kitchen right now, because what I'm about to share with you could be the most important conversation you've had about your health in years. I'm Dr. Daniel Hayes, and in my 30 years as a nephrologist, that's a kidney specialist, I have sat across from thousands of patients who had no idea that the very foods they believed were healthy were silently destroying the most powerful filtration system in the human body. Not cigarettes, not alcohol. Food, ordinary everyday food, sitting in your pantry right now. A landmark study published by the American Journal of Kidney Disease followed over 14,000 adults for more than a decade and found that dietary choices alone were responsible for accelerating kidney function decline in 73% of participants over the age of 60. That means nearly 3 out of every 4 seniors are unknowingly poisoning their kidneys 3 times a day, every single day with food they buy at the grocery store. And the most shocking part, one of the worst offenders, is something health magazines have been calling a superfood for the last 20 years. We'll get to that, and I promise you it will surprise you. But before we dive in, I want to ask you something personal. Drop your age in the comments below and tell me, have you ever been told by a doctor to watch what you eat for your kidneys? I read every single comment on this channel. Everyone. Your story matters to me, and it matters to this community. Now, if you're new here, welcome. Please consider hitting that subscribe button because we release life-changing health information every single week for people just like you. Today, we are counting down from number 5 to number 1. The worst kitchen poisons destroying your kidneys after 60. And the closer we get to number 1, the more dangerous it gets. Let's begin. Coming in at number 5, and this one is going to make you rethink your morning routine entirely. Processed table salt. And specifically, the hidden sodium buried inside packaged and canned foods that most seniors never even taste. Now, I know what you're thinking. You've heard the salt warning before. But hear me out, because what most doctors never explain is why salt becomes exponentially more dangerous, specifically after the age of 60. Here's the science. Your kidneys contain tiny filtering units called nephrons. Think of nephrons like microscopic cleaning crews working inside your kidneys 24 hours a day. At birth, you have approximately 1 million of these per kidney. By the time you reach 65, research from Johns Hopkins Medical Center confirms you've naturally lost between 30 and 40% of that filtering capacity, gone permanently. That means the kidneys of a 65-year-old are working with significantly less staff to do the same enormous job. When excess sodium floods your bloodstream, your kidneys are forced to work at emergency levels to flush it out. They raise blood pressure inside the tiny vessels of the kidney itself, vessels called glomeruli. And over time, that sustained high pressure is like running a garden hose on full blast through a paper straw. The straw eventually tears. A study from Harvard Medical School found that seniors who consumed more than 2,300 milligrams of sodium per day, barely 1 teaspoon of salt, experienced kidney function declined at a rate 3 times faster than those who stayed under that threshold. The sneaky danger isn't the salt shaker on your table. It's the sodium hiding in canned soups, deli meats, frozen dinners, bread, and even breakfast cereals. A single can of condensed tomato soup can carry over 1,700 milligrams of sodium, nearly your entire daily safe limit in one bowl. What should you do? Begin reading nutrition labels with the same attention you'd give a prescription bottle. Aim for foods labeled low sodium, meaning under 140 milligrams per serving. Season your food instead with herbs like rosemary, turmeric, and garlic, all of which, as we'll discuss, actually support kidney health. And pair your sodium reduction with adequate hydration. 6 to 8 glasses of clean filtered water per day helps your kidneys flush toxins efficiently without being overwhelmed. I had a patient named Margaret, 71 years old, from Tucson, Arizona. Margaret came to me with early-stage chronic kidney disease. She cooked from scratch every day and thought she was being healthy. When we tracked her sodium intake, she was consuming over 4,000 milligrams daily, mostly from canned vegetables and packaged broths she used in her home cooking. Within 6 months of bringing her sodium under 1,800 milligrams per day, her kidney filtration rate, her GFR score, improved by 22%. She called my office crying. She said, "Dr. Hayes, nobody ever told me this." Number 4 on our list is one that genuinely breaks my heart to tell you about, because so many seniors have been told this is heart healthy, bone protective, and essential. I'm talking about excessive animal protein, and specifically the habit of eating large portions of red meat, processed meats, and high-protein supplements every single day. Now, protein is not the enemy. Protein is absolutely critical for seniors. After the age of 70, your body experiences what scientists call anabolic resistance. That's a slowdown in your ability to synthesize protein into muscle. So you actually need more protein as you age, not less. But the type and quantity of protein matters enormously for your kidneys. And this is where most people go dangerously wrong. When your body breaks down animal protein, it produces waste products, primarily urate and creatinine. And those waste products must be filtered through your kidneys. Think of it like a recycling factory. A moderate amount of waste, no problem. But flood the factory with 3 times the material it was designed to handle, and it begins to break down. A study from the University of Southern California found that seniors who consumed more than 1.3 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight daily from animal sources showed a 31% faster decline in kidney filtration rates over a 5-year period compared to those who got a significant portion of their protein from plant sources. Red meat in particular also introduces high levels of phosphorus and purines into the bloodstream. Purines break down into uric acid, and elevated uric acid doesn't just cause gout, it directly damages the delicate tubes inside your kidneys called tubules, causing a condition called hyperuricemic nephropathy. The practical solution is not to abandon protein, it's to be strategic. Keep your total daily protein between 0.8 and 1.1 grams per kilogram of body weight. If you have any existing kidney concerns, and aim for at least half of that protein to come from plant-based sources like lentils, chickpeas, and tofu. When you do eat animal protein, choose fish, particularly wild salmon and sardines, over red or processed meat, and never eat a large protein meal in isolation. Always pair it with anti-inflammatory vegetables and adequate water to support your kidneys in clearing the metabolic waste. Before we get to the top 3, which is where the truly shocking information lives, I want to pause and ask you a genuine favor. If this video is helping you, if you're learning something today that your own doctor hasn't taken the time to explain, please hit the like button right now and subscribe to this channel. It takes you 2 seconds and it helps us reach other seniors who desperately need this information. We are a community here, and every subscription means one more person gets the chance to protect their health. Thank you. Now let's continue, because number 3 is one that shocked even me when I first saw the research. Number 3 is something that millions of seniors take every single morning, often right alongside a glass of water, believing they are protecting their health. I'm talking about over-the-counter non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, NSAIDs, like ibuprofen, naproxen, and aspirin. When used in high or frequent doses, these are medications sold under brand names you know well, sitting in medicine cabinets across the country, and they are quietly ravaging the kidneys of older adults at a rate that the medical community has called a silent epidemic. Here's what happens physiologically. Your kidneys rely on specific hormones called prostaglandins to regulate blood flow through their delicate internal blood vessels. Think of prostaglandins like traffic controllers. They direct the right amount of blood to the right places at the right time. NSAIDs work by blocking the production of prostaglandins throughout the body to reduce pain and inflammation. And that mechanism works beautifully in young, healthy kidneys with full filtering capacity. But in an aging kidney already operating with 30 to 40% fewer nephrons, blocking those traffic controllers causes a catastrophic traffic jam. Blood flow to the kidney drops, oxygen delivery falls, and kidney tissue begins to die. A study published in the Archives of Internal Medicine tracked over 10,000 adults over 60 and found that regular NSAID use, defined as 3 or more doses per week, increased the risk of acute kidney injury by 60% and accelerated chronic kidney disease progression by 44%. These are staggering numbers for a drug you can buy without a prescription. The danger multiplies when NSAIDs are combined with other common medications, blood pressure drugs like ACE inhibitors or diuretics like furosemide, a combination that kidney specialists refer to as the triple whammy because together they can reduce kidney blood flow so severely that acute kidney failure can occur within days. What should you do instead? Talk to your physician about alternatives for chronic pain. Topical diclofenac gel applied directly to a painful joint delivers pain relief with dramatically less systemic absorption. Acetaminophen, when used at appropriate doses, is generally safer for the kidneys. Physical therapy, warm compress therapy, and anti-inflammatory dietary strategies can also reduce the need for these medications significantly. I think of my patient, Robert, 78 years old from Nashville, Tennessee. Robert had arthritis and had been taking ibuprofen twice daily for nearly 4 years. He came to me because he was exhausted and retaining fluid around his ankles. His kidney function had dropped to 61% of normal stage 2 chronic kidney disease, and he had no idea the ibuprofen was connected. We transitioned him to a topical pain protocol and an anti-inflammatory diet, and within 8 months his kidney function stabilized. He told me it felt like someone had turned the lights back on. We are in the final 2 now, and I need you to stay with me, because number 2 is the one I teased at the beginning, the so-called superfood that has been celebrated on the covers of health magazines, recommended by nutritionists, and added to green smoothies by health-conscious seniors across the world. And the research suggests that for people with compromised kidney function, which statistically speaking may be you, it could be doing serious damage. Number 2 is high oxalate foods, and at the very top of that list sits spinach, almonds, and beets. Yes, spinach, the leafy green that has been marketed as perhaps the healthiest vegetable on the planet. Here is the mechanism. Oxalate is a naturally occurring compound found in many plant foods. In a young, healthy person with full kidney function, oxalate is filtered efficiently and excreted in the urine without incident. But in an aging kidney, particularly one where filtration is already reduced, oxalate accumulates in the bloodstream and begins to crystallize. Those crystals deposit inside the kidney's tubules and collecting ducts, causing a condition called oxalate neuropathy. The crystals physically shred kidney tissue from the inside. Researchers at Massachusetts General Hospital found that oxalate nephropathy is dramatically underdiagnosed and accounts for a significant percentage of unexplained kidney function decline in adults over 65. A single cup of raw spinach contains approximately 656 milligrams of oxalate. The safe upper threshold for someone with reduced kidney function is around 50 to 100 milligrams per day. That means a large spinach smoothie, the kind promoted aggressively by wellness influencers, could deliver 10 to 15 times the safe oxalate limit in a single glass. Almonds are similarly deceptive. A 1-ounce serving of almonds contains approximately 122 milligrams of oxalate. Almond milk, almond butter, almond flour. All of these concentrated almond products amplify oxalate exposure dramatically. Beets, beloved for their nitrate content and cardiovascular benefits, are extraordinarily high in oxalate and should be consumed only minimally and strategically by anyone over 60 with kidney concerns. This does not mean you must abandon these foods entirely if your kidneys are healthy, but here is what you can do to dramatically reduce the risk. First, always cook your spinach rather than eating it raw. Cooking reduces oxalate content by 40 to 50% because oxalate leaches into the cooking water, which you then discard. Second, always consume high oxalate foods alongside a good source of dietary calcium, dairy, fortified plant milk, or calcium-rich foods because calcium binds to oxalate in the digestive tract before it reaches the kidneys, neutralizing the threat before it begins. Third, hydration is your most powerful weapon. Drinking adequate water keeps oxalate in solution and prevents the crystallization that causes damage. My patient, Eleanor, 67 years old, from Portland, Oregon, had been drinking a daily green smoothie with 2 cups of raw spinach, almond milk, and frozen berries for 3 years. She was doing everything she believed was right for her health. She came to me with recurring kidney stones and declining kidney function, and she was devastated when we identified the connection. We restructured her diet, switched her to lower oxalate greens like kale and bok choy, ensured she was pairing calcium with any higher oxalate meal, and within a year, her stone formation stopped entirely. Her nephrologist was, in her words, astonished. And now we have arrived at number 1, the single most dangerous kidney poison in your kitchen. And I want you to brace yourself because this one is not a food at all. It is a habit, a deeply embedded cultural habit that most seniors practice without a second thought, and it is destroying kidneys at a rate that dwarfs every other item on this list combined. Number 1 is chronic persistent dehydration, and more specifically, the systematic underconsumption of water that affects an estimated 60 to 70% of adults over the age of 65. According to research from the National Institute on Aging, here is why aging makes this so catastrophically dangerous. As we grow older, the sensation of thirst diminishes significantly. The hypothalamus, the part of the brain that monitors fluid levels and triggers the thirst signal, becomes less sensitive after 60. Research from the University of California found that adults over 65 feel thirst at a 40% reduced intensity compared to younger adults, even when their bodies are in a clinically significant state of dehydration. In other words, by the time a senior feels thirsty, they may already be dangerously depleted. Your kidneys are at their most fundamental level hydraulic organs. They require water to do everything, to filter waste, to dilute toxins, to flush out creatine and urate, to dissolve the minerals that would otherwise crystallize into stones, to deliver oxygen to their own delicate tissues. When water is chronically insufficient, the blood becomes more concentrated, and your kidneys must work exponentially harder to extract and excrete waste products from thicker, more viscous blood. Think of it like asking a coffee filter to work with syrup instead of water. The filter clogs, tears, and eventually fails. A landmark study from the Clinical Journal of the American Society of Nephrology followed over 3,000 adults for over a decade and found that those who drank less than 4 cups of water per day had a 54% higher risk of developing chronic kidney disease than those who drank 8 or more cups daily. 54% from a habit as simple as drinking water. Chronic low-grade dehydration also causes the kidneys to produce hormones that raise blood pressure, specifically vasopressin and aldosterone, because the body interprets dehydration as a crisis and attempts to retain every drop of fluid. That sustained blood pressure elevation inside the kidney's vascular system causes the same kind of long-term structural damage we discussed with sodium overload. The two conditions, high sodium intake and chronic dehydration, together form a devastatingly effective partnership in destroying kidney function. The practical prescription is simple but requires intention. Drink a full glass of water, 8 to 12 ounces, immediately upon waking, before coffee, before breakfast, before anything else. This replenishes the fluid loss during 7 to 8 hours of sleep and jumpstarts kidney filtration for the day. Keep a water bottle in every room where you spend significant time. Set a phone alarm every 2 hours as a hydration reminder if needed. And do not rely on thirst because, as we've established, your thirst signal is no longer reliable. Aim for at least 64 ounces of water daily, more in summer or after physical activity. Herbal teas, diluted fruit water, and broths can count toward that total. And here's the synergy tip that ties this entire video together. Adequate hydration dramatically amplifies the protective effect of every dietary change we have discussed today. It helps flush excess sodium. It dilutes oxalate before it can crystallize. It supports the kidneys in clearing the metabolic waste from protein digestion. And it reduces the kidney damage caused by NSAID medications by maintaining healthy blood flow through the kidney's vessels. Water is not just one strategy. It is the foundation upon which every other kidney protective strategy is built. I want to close with something personal, because I did not spend 30 years in nephrology just to share statistics. I did it because I have watched too many brilliant, vibrant, independent human beings, people like you, lose years of their lives, their energy, their freedom, and their dignity to kidney disease that was entirely preventable. I have sat with patients in their 70s who told me they had given up on feeling well. And I have had the extraordinary privilege of watching those same people transform, not with exotic medications or expensive procedures, but with knowledge. With the simple, powerful act of understanding what is happening inside their own bodies and making different choices. It is never too late. I want you to hear that. It is never too late. The kidneys have a remarkable capacity to stabilize and partially recover when the conditions that were damaging them are removed. Whether you are 62 or 84, the choices you make starting today, starting this morning, will shape the quality of your life in ways that matter profoundly. Your independence, your energy, your ability to be present for the people you love. You have been given information today that your doctor may not have had time to give you, that health magazines have gotten wrong, and that the processed food industry would prefer you never knew. Use it. Share it with someone you love. If you found value in this video, please subscribe to this channel right now. We are here every week with research-backed, senior-specific health information that can genuinely change your life. And I want to leave you with a question for the comments. Which item on this list surprised you the most? And are you going to make a change starting today? Tell me below. I will be reading every single response. Take care of those kidneys. They are working for you every second of every day, and they deserve the same care in return.